It's a new year, so it's time for a manga collection update. I try to do this every year where I kind of give you an update on the status of my manga collection and we'll go through it. So I did this last January, so a tiny bit over a year ago. I will say that my collection has not changed too much. I know you saw my organization video, so you kind of have a feel of like what's going on here. I thought I would go through my collection anyway, just for a status update. The one thing that has changed about my collection is the number of volumes in it. At the start of the year, so on January 1st, I had a total of 702 manga. My last manga collection video was 730 manga, somewhere around there. So I've actually gotten less manga. There were a few series that I wasn't really happy with that I wanted to get rid of, so they are no longer in my collection. So what have I counted in my collection? So everything that I've counted towards my collection is pretty much like unique volumes. So for example, Cardcaptor Sakura, I have several versions of it. I have like the original Tokyo Pop versions, and then I also have the collector's versions, but I didn't count those twice because it's the same series. But this time I did add in my Japanese manga, the ones that are like unique volumes, so I don't have the corresponding English one in it. That's kind of how the status of my collection is right now. I did go on a buying ban at the second half of last year and didn't really buy any manga to save money, and I am kind of continuing that now. I'm gonna kind of focus on a few series and new things that are coming out. So we're not gonna have a ton of like huge hauls on this channel for a little bit because times are tough and I have a lot of stuff that I need to read. So let's go through some statistics on my manga collection. So like I said, January 1st, I had 702 manga in my collection. I am very proud that most of my manga collection is read. Out of those 700 volumes, I have, at the start of the year, I had 221 volumes of manga unread. So that means that somewhere around 31% of my collection is unread, which I think is really good. For the amount of manga that I have, having read 70% of it, I feel like is really good. I'm gonna try to get like most of this read this year. I am gonna have to buy a few more volumes to like fill out series or to finish up series and stuff like that, and there's a bunch of new stuff coming out this year that I'm definitely gonna get. So we're gonna see like next year, I guess, how I balance it out. I think my goal for the end of the year is to have only 10% of my collection unread. So I want to have finished reading 90% of my manga collection. I know it's ambitious, but I think I could do it. You may be wondering like what types of series I have on here, and I did break it all down because I think that stuff is fun. All right, so we all know that I'm a shoujo manga girly, and that is the bulk of what I read and collect and talk about. I do read some other stuff. I read a lot of seinen and very few shonen manga. So these numbers are approximate because I counted by hand, and maybe some things I'm not 100% sure. Like I might have gotten a few things wrong, but this is generally. So I have 127 different series in my collection. Out of those, 89 of them are shoujo, 15 are josei, 14 are seinen, and I only have 9 shonen series in my collection. So some other things about my manga collection. The bookshelves that I have are the Billy bookshelves. The 2 large ones are Billy bookshelves, and I did have some extra shelves that I inserted in there. And then this cube shelf down here is just from Target, I think. It's not anything special, it was relatively cheap, but it's from Target. You can find cube shelves everywhere. I really love the Billy bookshelf. It is really sturdy and you can adjust the shelves, which is great because of how much manga I have. I'm definitely running out of room, but this is the only place I can put my manga, so unless I want to infect the rest of the house, and I don't think my boyfriend would like that. The way I have my manga collection organized is not very organized. For somebody who loves organizing things and keeping things in order, my manga collection is kind of based on like what vibes I'm feeling from it and what I feel like goes together. So some rules that I do try to follow with my manga collection and organizing it is I try to keep authors together unless they have like vastly different book sizes. One example of this is Yuwatase. For Fushigi Yugi, I have the Viz Big editions, but for the rest of Yuwatase manga I have the normal size tankobons. So those aren't really next to each other. Most of my stuff is like kind of putting my favorite stuff together, making sure the ones that I want to display are displayed really nicely, that sort of thing. I have one shelf right here. The shelf here is kind of like the stuff that is currently releasing that I am most interested in right now. It's honestly mostly unread because I haven't caught up yet, but I wanted to like have them really visible. And of course, if I have any like trinkets or acrylic stands or stuff like that that is like featured in the series, then I will put those things next to it. So enough of me talking, let's get to the collection. All right, let's take a look at the top shelf here. This is where I have my hardcover books and some of my larger special editions. Decorations on the shelf are this terrible Luna Maria figure from Gundam Seed Destiny. I love Gundam Seed, but I hate this figure. It was $8 and you can definitely tell. I also have this Edward Elric figure that I've had since high school, a little fox from an old roommate, and my Tamahome Nendroid that I am so incredibly excited to have. I love this thing. So as far as series on the shelf go, I have Rose of Versailles. This is the hardcover version. I'm going to pull this out. This is the last volume, but these are absolutely beautiful. I have not read this yet, but I need to ASAP. Then I have 1 through 6 of Full Metal Alchemist. These are the Full Metal editions. They're just the hardcover editions, but they're really nice. And actually, despite Full Metal Alchemist being my favorite anime of all time, I have not read the manga. So I really need to remedy that this year. And I love these hardback editions. They're just very expensive, so they're going to take a lot of time and money to collect. Then I have 1 through 6 of Fushigi Yugi. These are the Viz Big editions. I really love these editions a lot, especially since like I grew up reading the original like flipped versions. So these are a huge upgrade from what I originally read this series in. Then I have the first 2 omnibuses of Noragami. I really like this anime, and this is one of the few shonen series that I have in my collection. And then I have the 20th anniversary edition of Paradise Kiss by Aizawa. This is a classic. I read this last year, I think, and it's really, really excellent. Then we're going to take a look at the tippy top shelf on top next to all of these stuffed animals. This is really hard to film because it's very high up, but I have maybe 2 years worth of Betsukami magazines up here. I had a subscription through Kinokuniya, but it was really expensive, so I had to stop it, but I like keeping these magazines. I got it for Queen's Quality. I have a few other random magazines up there, and then I have most of Yona of the Dawn up here just because it's like the longest series I have, and it's the only like space I have for it. It's going to take up shelves that other things could go on. And then I have 2 box sets. I have the Ouran High School Host Club box set and the Blackbird box set. I have not read either of these, but I think we're going to get to these this year. And then we're going to move down to this other top shelf where we have my Fruits Basket manga collection. These are the collector's editions from Yen Press, and I have finished reading this. I have like a little mini series about the series on my channel. I ended up really liking Fruits Basket. Didn't read it as a kid, but reading it as an adult was a really good experience. Then moving over, we have the rest of my Yona collection. So we have up to volume 40 over here, and then we have the Yona fan book, and this book is just like a guidebook. Basically, there's some color pages, extra comics, extra information about the series, and it's just like a fun little thing to have as a Yona fan. Then I have this other merch. I have some acrylic stands and some acrylic keychains. These are from a Yona cafe that happened in Japan. I just got ordered these online. I did not go to the cafe, but I got these a while ago. The cafe isn't around anymore, so you can't get them. You could probably find them on like Mercari or whatever. but I got the acrylic stands of Yona and Huck and these keychains. The keychains were all random, so I didn't know who I was going to pick or like who I was going to get, but I ended up happy with all of the ones that I got. And then there's a bunch of postcards that I want to do something with, but I don't know yet, but it's all of the characters with T. And then on this shelf, we have a bunch of completed series. The shelf is double stacked. It's kind of hard to see, but I have Lovesick Ellie, which is one of my favorite series of all time. It's a super cute comedy romance, really, really fun. And then I have Hatsuharu, which is another really fun shoujo high school romance comedy. It's got a guy main character, so it's a little bit different than most of what I read, but I really, really love Hatsuharu. It's super fun. And then there are 13 volumes in that series also. Then I have Honey So Sweet, which is probably like the most sugary, sweet, cute series you could ever read. And then I have Honey Hunt 1 through 6. This is an incomplete series that's been on an eternal hiatus, but it's about idols and actors. A lot of people said it was like a knockoff Skip Beat, which I guess, but it's been on hiatus for years. I don't think it's ever going to finish, but I really like the kind of like idol stuff that's in it, and I thought it was really dramatic and fun. Then I have Daytime Shooting Star 1 through 12. I was really adverse to reading this series because of the student-teacher dynamic in it, but it's actually really good and really fun, and I had a lot of fun like reading this. I really, really enjoyed it. I could not put it down. I had to go out and buy the rest of it while I was reading it. And then we have 1 through 14 of Waiting for Spring. This is one of my absolute favorite series. It's a really fun high school romance with basketball boys, and it's just really cute and really well done, and I just love it to death. The art is nice and simple, and I feel like it's a little bit hard to sell because it's so simple, but trust me, if you love high school romances, you are gonna love this. Then we have up to volume 5 of Subakicho Lonely Planet. This is by Mika Yamamori, the same mangaka as Daytime Shooting Star. And then next to that, I have How I Met My Soulmate. I have the Japanese volumes and the English volume 1. I really love this series so far. It's by Anashin, who does Waiting for Spring, so it's got that kind of vibe. These are kind of like organized strangely because they're ongoing, even though they're supposed to be like by their authors. Once I get more of it or they complete, then this will have to be reorganized, obviously. I have a bunch of stuff from How I Met My Soulmate also. I have 2 acrylic stands here and then a bunch of postcards. These were from like an online shop or like a cafe or something like that. I bought them a while ago, but I felt like I needed them. And then these little photos are from a series in Betsukami. It's not like in English. I can't find it anywhere, but it's an idol series. They were free with the magazine. And then I also got these photos from Betsukami. It's from the mangaka that did Blackbird. I have a few more of these How I Met My Soulmate postcards also, but they're up on my wall. All right, now we're going to shift over to this shelf, which has my Queen's Quality collection on it with Snow White with the red hair. So let's take a look at the Queen's Quality stuff because there's a lot in here. So I have all of the volumes in English, and then I have volume 10 in Japanese, and this one came with a fan book. And so what's really cool about this is the fan book is the other side of the volume 10 cover. So I thought it was really cool that Kyosuke Motomi did that type of art. It's just really fun. The other volumes in Japanese I have for Queen's Quality is I have volume 11. And the cool thing about this one is it came with a drama CD. So this is like little skits with voice actors, and it's super cute. There is no anime for Queen's Quality. I hope to God one day we get a really good Queen's Quality anime. But at least with the drama series, you can kind of like hear what their voices would sound like, kind of imagine them a little bit more in motion. And a lot of the times with drama series, they pick the same voice actors for the anime later. So maybe someday we'll get a Queen's Quality anime. So on the drama series, there's a few chapters from the manga, and then there's a special and like a few original scenes, and the special chapter is also from the fan book, and I think it's with one of the characters from Dengeki Daisy, which I think is the other volume I have in Japanese is volume 12, and this one came with a special book, and this special book came with some extra stories, and it came with a story with one of the characters from Dengeki Daisy also, so that was really fun. And then for Snow White with the Red Hair, I am caught up with this. I also have the fan book for Snow White with the Red Hair. All right, moving down to this next shelf. Decorations we have on this shelf is this cute little Bond from Spy Family, some more unicornos, this Sakura figure that I got from my friend. They just gave it to me. They're old figures. They don't look the best, but I think it's still cute. So the manga I have on the shelf, I have Absolute Boyfriend 1 through 6, which I have not read, or at least read recently. I also have Sarah's The Celestial Legend and a variety of volumes for that. Also haven't read that. Watched the anime for that one though, and I love it. So I'm trying to collect a little bit more before I read more. Then I have the first volume of Fushigi Yugi Byakyo Senki, which is the last of the Universe of Four Gods stories that we need. This is on hiatus, but I believe it is coming back like this summer, which is really, really exciting. A lot of these older volumes I do have in plastic, and that's just because they're old and there is a window next to this, and I want to protect them as much as possible. I don't normally like care that much to like sleeve all of my manga, but just because they're older and I don't want them to yellow much anymore. All right, and then next to that we have 1 through 4 of Yukariism, which is really fun. And then we also have Urara and Rasetsu, which are also really fun supernatural series. Those are all by Chika Shiomi. I have a Rilekuma, and I have this Kokeshi doll that my dad's coworker got for me from Japan, which is really cute. All right, so next is Sakura Hime. I actually thought I had the whole thing, but I'm missing volumes 4 and 5, but they are on the Viz app. I really love this series so much. It's kind of like a historical magical girl series, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like Arina Tanemura's art. I feel like the art is like iconic, and I really want to cosplay as Sakura Hime. No one will know who I am, but I love it. All right, moving on. Then I have 4 volumes of The Gentleman's Alliance Cross, which I'm not 100% sold on right now, but we have to read a little bit more. All right, moving over to the next shelf. The decorations we have on this are just a crown ornament that I thought was cute, some unicornos, another Sakura, and the manga on here. We have a bunch of Yoko Nogiri series. I have the omnibus version of That Wolf Boy Is Mine. I really think this is a really cute manga. I really enjoyed it. Then I have 1, 2, and 3 of Love and Focus, Those Not So Sweet Boys, which is a series I actually really kind of adore a lot, and not a lot of people talk about it, but I found it really fun. The art is super cute, and I really want more from Yoko Nogiri. She kind of reminds me of Anashin a little bit, and I just hope that she gets to do a little bit of a longer series in the future. And then as we move over, we have Aoharu Ride, which is complete, and I have finished reading. I have complicated feelings about Aoharu Ride. Then we have 3 volumes of Lovely Me, Love Me Not. I have had to take a break from Iosaki Saka for a while. I just couldn't handle her manga for a while. And then over here we have volumes 1 through 4 of Millennium Snow by Bisco Hattori. This is the same mangaka as Ouran High School Host Club. It's a vampire series. It's pretty good and a really fun read. So I really enjoyed it. Then behind Sakura, we have Sand Chronicles. I have almost all of it. I am missing volume 7 and 10, but it's going to be really hard to collect. I think I'm caught up on reading this, and I think I have 1 more volume left, which is a wild place to end. I think I caught up with it until like before the Viz Manga app came out, and I think it's on the Viz Manga app, so I should just go ahead and read it. All right, and then going onto this next shelf, we have a variety of different series. We have my Maki and Joji series. So I have SP Baby, An Incurable Case of Love, which I devoured like instantaneously. And then we have some Keiko Ishihara series, which I have the Heiress and the Chauffeur, which is like a Taisho era romance that I'm obsessed with.
It's only 2 volumes, but it's so good. And then we have Keiko Ishihara's other series, which is completely different than The Heiress and the Chauffeur. And it is Prince Freya, which is like a fantasy adventure. And it is so much fun. I'm super behind on it, but I also think that the volumes are coming out really slow, so not a lot of people talk about it. But I think it's pretty underrated, and if you want a good fantasy adventure, you should read it. Then I have 6 volumes of High School Debut, which I read a really long time ago but never collected, so I have a few volumes to catch up with that. And then I also have a variety of volumes of Kimi ni Todoke, which I've also completed but never collected, so I am working on that right now. And then I have this little like cat thing that gets energy from the sun, which is really cute. Behind that, we have Everyone's Getting Married, which I recently finished reading. And then on the next shelf, we have a ton of stuff that is ongoing. This is kind of like my most interested shelf currently. So let's take a look at the decorations first. So in this case, I have 2 coasters that I got from Kinokuniya in New York City years ago, but it's Honey Lemon Soda and Sakura Saku. I got these because I bought a bunch of manga in Japanese. All right, so behind these, I have 2 volumes of Shortcake Cake and 2 volumes of Like a Butterfly. I'm really behind on Like a Butterfly. I actually read this a long time ago, maybe before it got licensed, but really enjoyed it. So I really can't wait to get more of this and start reading it. And then I have Kageki Shoujo. I have The Curtain Rises plus 5 volumes of the main series. Also really behind on this. You can see why this is the shelf that I want to keep up with. Also, I'm behind on Honey Lemon Soda. I only have 3 volumes, but I'm really, really excited to finally read this series in English. I also have 3 volumes of Wolf Girl and Black Prince, which I'm actually really enjoying. I don't know why it gets so much hate, but I guess I'll find out when I read more. Rainbow Days, which is about high school boys, which is something I love reading about. A Condition Called Love, which I'm also behind on, and 3 volumes of My Special One, which is an idol series that I am absolutely loving. It's so much fun. 1 through 4 of Cheeky Brat, which is another famous shoujo that I'm so glad that we have. I have another weird looking Sakura figure on here. Then I have a few volumes of My Love Mix-Up, which I have not finished reading yet, but it's on the list. I'm almost done with it. And then I have Tamon's B-Side 1 and 2. And then I also have Tamon's B-Side 1 and 2 in Japanese. I bought these right as it was announced in English, so I didn't really need to buy them in Japanese, but I did anyway. Then I have volumes 1 and 2 of the Japanese version of Defying Kurosaki-kun. This is one of my favorite series. Like, I'm obsessed with it, but it's only available digitally in English. So I felt like I needed some volumes of this in a physical format. So I got volumes 1 and 2. I love this series to death, and I wish it was printed. So please go check out the digital copy of it, so that I can eventually get physicals of Defying Kurosaki-kun. I don't think it'll happen, but it's fine. After that, I have 1 through 3 of Chihaya Furu, but these are the bilingual editions. This is another series that I don't know why we haven't gotten like actual prints of this in English. Like, it has 3 seasons of an anime, so why wouldn't you print the manga? But these bilingual versions are in English, but it also has the Japanese translation down there, and it's meant for Japanese people to like learn English or to be able to read English. They're not like super done with like lettering or anything like that. And then I do have the last volume of Chihaya Furu in Japanese. It came with this little special book. I have not looked inside either of these because the English version is not finished publishing digitally. So once I finish the series, like it's finished publishing in English, then I will finally look inside of these. But they're limited edition, so I got them while I saw them, and I'll look at them when the series is later finished printing later. And now my shelves start to get like a little bit weird. Meizani Koko and Mermaid Saga by Rumiko Takahashi, volumes 1 and 2 for both of those. This is the mangaka for Inuyasha. I haven't read either of these, and I've had them for a long time, so I definitely need to read them. Then 4 volumes of Star-Crossed, which is really good. It's like a body-switching idol manga that had me laughing out loud all the time. I literally cosplayed from this series because I liked it so much. No one knew who I was, but I did it for me. This is the same mangaka as Kiss Him, Not Me. Then I have Perfect World volumes 1 through 5. All right, and then you can see I have a variety of volumes of Kare Kano. These are really hard to find, so I just get them as I see them. And then I have all of Wild Ones, which is a Yakuza manga, like a high school Yakuza manga. It's pretty good and pretty fun. Then I have Planet Ladder, which I also thought I had the whole series of, but I am missing volume 3, which seems to be a trend with me. I think I buy the whole thing and then I'm missing like 1 or 2 volumes. Then I have Hanakimi, and this is like one of my all-time favorite manga. Some of these are the original volumes that I owned from high school, and then others I have just picked up like semi-recently. I don't own the whole series yet. I'm missing several volumes. There are 23 and I have 17 of them. So I am not too far behind, but I would like to finally own the whole series one day because it is one of my favorites. So the next shelf over is one that is double stacked for the most part. I have all of Demon Prince of Momochi House, which has an anime that aired, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Then I have Library Wars, which I have almost all of. I think I am only missing volume 2 or maybe 1 other volume also. But this is like insanely out of print, and I have 5 volumes of the sequel to Library Wars in Japanese because it is not available in English, and I really like this. It's really cute. It's kind of like about Kazuhara and Dojo's life after Library Wars, so you kind of get to see like how their relationship evolves and a little more domestic stuff, and it's just like super cute and I love it. Then I have volumes 1 through 14 of Requiem of the Rose King, which is a beautifully dark manga that I am going to finish, but I think I am either waiting for, I think that all of them are out now, but I just need to get the rest of them and then finish it because I feel like this is a manga that I just need to like binge finishing, so I'm going to do that eventually. And then I have this series Arisa, which is by Natsumi Ando. This is like a high school mystery series that I've been super interested in for a while, but just like haven't gotten around to it. You can kind of like see a trend with my manga reading. I'm gonna finish everything this year. But then we have Natsumi Ando's more famous series, I guess, or at least with the English speaking community. I don't know how famous Arisa is, but it's Something's Wrong with Us. This is another series that I'm really behind on, and I think it is just recently finished printing in English, so I need to pick up the rest of it. And then I have 1 through 7 of A Sign of Affection, and we know the series is beautiful. It's so popular. And then this shelf over here is what I call my seinen shelf because I believe everything on here is seinen. So I have some unicornos on here and a little Todoroki figure, which I think is cute. I have the light novel for My Happy Marriage because I thought it was the manga when I bought it, but it was not. I bought it online, so I couldn't look inside of it. I have 2 volumes of Fangirl, which is a manga adaptation of one of my favorite novels. It's not Japanese manga, but I still like it. 1 through 8 of O Maidens in Your Savage Season, which is a really great like coming of age story about high schoolers. Super fun. There's also a live action drama, and I think there's also a anime for it. Really great series. Then I have 3 volumes of Witch Hat Atelier, which I've kind of put on the back burner for a while I finish some other stuff that I really want to finish. And then I have 1 through 6 of Sweat and Soap. One of these volumes is printed like backwards for like half of it. I think volume 5. It's really messed up. I was able to read it, but it's at like a really exciting point in the volume, and it's just like a section of the pages are upside down and cut off, and I think I need to like contact the publisher or something like that. Then I have these hardcover versions of Bride's Story. I have not read this, but it looks absolutely gorgeous, so I'd like to try it. I've had these for a while, so I really need to get to it. Then I have the box set for A Silent Voice, which I have read. Our Dreams at Dusk, which is a LGBTQ manga, which is really good. And then we have Saint Seiya Saint Seiya's Show, which is like a female version or like a side version of Saint Seiya, which is a really classic, like very famous shonen manga. But I think it's really good. It's a little bit like Sailor Moon. It has a bit of a Sailor Moon vibe in the beginning of it, but not really as it goes on. But I thought it was just kind of interesting to have like a Saint Seiya story with like female main characters. All right, on this shelf, I have a bunch of stuff going on here. First, I have these Halloween post-it notes that I think I got in Nakayoshi. This has a character, like the main guy from Kao Dake Tsuki ja Arimasen, something like that. Like more than a pretty face or whatever it is. And then the other one, I don't remember who the character is, but they're cute post-it notes. Behind here, I have Honey and Clover, which is one of my favorite series of all time. You can see that I have tabbed it up like crazy. It's another series that's kind of like insanely out of print, and I'm missing several volumes, 8 and 9 to be exact, so that's pretty annoying. Then I have The King's Beast, which is pretty great. I have several volumes of that. My Happy Marriage, which I'm behind on, but I have 1 through 4. Then I have Last Game, Don't Call It Mystery. Then I have volumes 1 and 2 of Nina the Starry Bride. And I have this little acrylic stand that I won at a giveaway on Twitter, which was really fun. I am super happy that we finally got that series. All right, these rows are getting harder to reach, but I have a bunch of like Unicornos and Hello Kitty stuff and lots of space on this shelf, which is good. But I have D and Angel 1 through 13, which is a series I loved as like a middle schooler, but as I read it as an adult, it was like not as good as I thought it was, which was kind of disappointing. I think it's a little disorganized. But yeah, I have the Apothecary Diaries, volumes 1 through 4. I'm behind on this, but it's also like not a priority for me right now. And then I have a few of these things that were like freebies in Betsukami magazines. This one is for like first-time mangaka, like one-shots. And then these are other like kind of like love story one-shots. I haven't read any of these, but I think it's kind of cool to have like these things from like existing mangaka and from new mangaka. All right, the rest on this shelf, I have The Golden Sheep 1 through 3, and then The God's Lie by Kaori Ozaki. These are kind of depressing, but they're pretty good seinen series. Then down on this bottom shelf is kind of like my shonen shelf plus stuff that I want to protect and keep out of the sun. So I actually have a few volumes of Red River down here, and I keep them down here instead of like prominently displayed on my shelf because I want to keep them out of the sun. But they did announce the omnibuses, which I'm super excited for. Then I have 1 volume of the Gundam Wing manga, which I got at my very first anime convention, and it's signed by Scott McNeil, who is the voice actor of Duo Maxwell, my favorite character. This is a really fun like memento that I have, even though I don't think like Gundam manga is like, I prefer Gundam as an anime. Then I have volumes 1 through 3 of My Hero Academia, which I think is really fun. I'm very behind on it, and I don't think I'm going to collect any more after volumes 1 to 3. But like, don't come for me because of My Hero Academia. Every time I post something about My Hero, I get people in my comments who are like, everything looks great except for My Hero. Like, it's not as bad as you think it is. I have a bunch of volumes of The Prince of Tennis, which is one of my favorite sports manga. It's insane, but I love it. It was like one of my first fandoms that I was super involved in. So I love The Prince of Tennis to death. All right, next shelf, I have Honey Blood, which is a short vampire manga. I have volumes 1 and 2. And then I also have like volume 0. So 1 and 2 are the main series, and then volume 0 is like a bunch of things meshed together. There's like the original one shot, which differs from the like short series, and then there's a bunch of extra like shorts for the main series. It's kind of confusing to read because they don't explain it very well in there. Then I have several volumes of Girl Got Game, which I think is about basketball, but it's a shoujo sports manga. I have a bunch of volumes of Kare First Love, and again, I thought I bought the whole thing, but I'm missing volume 4, and this was recommended by my friend Manga Lila over on TikTok at a panel that we did together, and I bought it that day because it sounded like something that I wanted to read. And then I have Kenko Bancho Otome, which is kind of like a cross-dressing kind of thing, like a girl pretends to be a boy kind of situation, kind of like Hanekimi, but with fighting. Then I have Strobe Edge, which I don't know why this is not with my other Iosaki Saka manga, and I think I need to change that, reorganize. Anyway, I have a lot of this, but of course, volume 6 is eternally out of print. Then I have a bunch of volumes of Angel Sanctuary, up to 12 volumes. This series is super messed up, but I've enjoyed it. I've taken a break from it because I think it was so intense and like dense that it put me into a reading slump. Then I have Seiho Boys High School, volumes 1 through 3, which is about stupid high school boys. It's a shoujo manga. I really love it. Say I Love You, volume 1, which is really fun. I have read more volumes than I own. It's just kind of hard to find volumes of this right now. And then I have volumes 1 and 2 of Nana. Then down here, I have several volumes of Banana Fish. I think I can read up to volume 5 of this. Then I have Phantom of the Idol, which is a really fun idol manga about a ghost of an idol that possesses an idol who is not really interested in being an idol. It's top tier idol comedy. So funny. Then I have volume 1 of Hi, I'm a Witch and My Crush Asked Me to Make a Love Potion, which is a really cute fantasy type series that I want to read more of. Love and Heart volumes 1 through 3. What He Who Doesn't Believe in Fate Believes. This title confuses me all of the time. But I have 2 volumes of this really interesting about like destiny, fate, red string of fate, that sort of thing. It's really good. I need to read more. Daily Report of My Witch Senpai, volumes 1 and 2. Love of Kill, volume 1 through 6, which I feel like does not get enough credit or talk because it's an action josei. It even has an anime. So like, I don't understand why more people don't talk about this. It's really good. I stopped watching the anime so I could catch up on the manga and then didn't catch up on the manga. Then I have Devil's Line, volumes 1 through 6 or 1 through 7. This is so good. It's vampires again. I swear I'm not a vampire girly, but I love this. I love the anime so much. One of my favorites. Also, I have the Skip Beat omnibuses 1 and 2. I finally found these. I've been looking for these forever because I need to start Skip Beat. Then I have Yakuza Lover 1 through 4, which is a spicy manga. It doesn't have much plot, but you know, when you need it, you need it. I have volume 1 and 2 of Skip and Loafer also. Then this final shelf over here is basically all of my Clamp manga. So the top of it is basically like my Cardcaptor Sakura collection plus other stuff. So I have 1 through 5 of the hardcover Cardcaptor Sakura collectors editions, which the covers look nice, but I wish the inside was a little bit nicer. And I have Magic Knight Rayearth. Both of these are the hardcover special edition 25th anniversary versions. I love this series to death. It's a little bit dusty up here, but these hardcover editions are absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. Then I have my Cardcaptor Sakura manga. I have 2 issues of Nakayoshi, which is the magazine that Cardcaptor Sakura is printed on. I don't exactly know what chapters are in this magazine, but it's towards the end. So I have all 12 volumes of the Tokyo Pop. I think these are like special editions. So I have 1 through 6 of the beginning and then 1 through 6 of Master of the Cloud. Well, I don't know why they did that, but whatever. And then I have 1 through 4 of Clear Card in Japanese. And then I have 5 through 10 of Clear Card in English. I don't know why I did this, but I need to finish up this series. I also have the hardcover version of Chobits. These are the 20th anniversary versions. Jury is still out on the series. I've read about half of it, but I need to read the other half to really form an opinion. Then I have volume 1 of the omnibus of RG Veda, which is going to be impossible to find the rest of them because I don't think you can buy these versions anymore. So that'll be fun to try to finish collecting this series. Then I have the omnibus for Wish, which I really enjoyed. Angelic Layer omnibuses 1 and 2. Fun. It's actually a shonen series, but it's really cool. And it's connected to Chobits in like a universe type of way. There's a few characters that show up in either of them. Then I have Tokyo Babylon, which is a series that ripped my heart out. Legal Drug, which I have read like 3 times and I could not tell you what happens in this manga. It will not stick in my brain for whatever reason. And then I have several volumes of the Tsubasa omnibuses. I went on a mission several years ago to try to figure out what the heck happens in Tsubasa, but then stopped collecting it at volume 7. And so I hope I can find these again because I need to finish the series, but I'm going to have to restart because there's so much that happens in this. And then I do have an omnibus of Chobits that I need to get rid of, or I would like to get rid of because I have the hardcovers. And then I have volumes 1 and 3 of Ski, and then one volume of Man of Many Faces. This is an old library copy that I need to take the stickers off of. I have volume 6 of Kobato, which apparently is hard to find or is expensive, so that's fun that I have it. And then I have this other Tokyo Pop version of Cardcaptor Sakura. And then I have volumes 1 through 4 of Gate 7, which I don't like, but just need to like bite the bullet and finish it. And then finally down here, I have most of Here is Greenwood. I'm missing volume 3, which is disappointing. But this is an older shoujo high school manga where the main characters, I believe, are boys in a boarding school. So then I have some manga in Japanese. I have Material 360, which I haven't read because I'm scared to read manga in Japanese. But this is a high school romance. And then I have a few one-shots, which I can't remember who wrote them or how to read them. This one is like Ai no Tameni. And this one is something... Ticket, I can't remember, whatever. And then this pile over here, this is all just manga that I don't want anymore. It's either doubles or things I don't like, so I'm getting rid of, so I don't count this in my collection, and I'm gonna try to sell these. And then finally, these are hard to get to because they're behind my computers, but I always forget about my Sailor Moon manga because I have it in a separate place. But I have the Eternal editions of the main Sailor Moon series. So this is 1 through 10. And then I have Sailor V Volume 1 in the Eternal editions.
All right, and that is it. I hope you liked this tour of my manga collection. Hopefully you found this interesting. Maybe you found a series that you haven't heard of or something that like sparked your interest. If I have any of your favorites in my collection, let me know down in the comments. And I am excited to see where my manga reading and collecting journey goes over the next year. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Till next time, matane!